Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's early enough this morning that I still have wet hair and only half hair, but hey, I've got hot coffee. So, that's good enough, right? We're just waiting for court to start for Nicholas Rossi, ALAHVERDIAN, Jingleheimer Schmidt. And so this is his preliminary in Provo, Utah, for a rape charge. Nick, of course, if you remember, has been extradited from the UK, where he has been hiding out after he faked his own death poorly and was caught. And so now there are two different rape charges in Utah. One of them is in Salt Lake, the other is in Provo. He had his preliminary in Salt Lake last week. It was fairly brief, and he was held over for a trial on that one. We expect that to be the same outcome today. The evidence is a lot of it's been held back, so I think there's a lot we don't know. But also, uh, it seems like it didn't take a lot for them to. But it's all DNA evidence, as far as we know. There's probably more, but again, that's all we know. So, at any rate, last week he actually had to concede to being Nick Rossi for that hearing only. Not sure how that works. The prosecution wasn't sure how that works either. But at any rate, here we go. I don't know if we'll hear his voice today, if we'll get any sense of whether or not old Nick is still going with that ye old English accent or not. Last week he seemed to be, though we really didn't hear much of his voice in court. I don't know if we'll hear his voice today either. But here we are. I know that the judge is still calling him Mr. Brown due to his request. I think he has different attorneys for this matter because they're in a different county. We'll see. So we'll see what happens. I wish we could hear from his voice a little bit more, just because it's pretty entertaining. But I've been thinking about these old cases, and it's taken so long to get them to justice, for obvious reasons. But I was thinking about the victims and how this has turned into such an unbelievable clown show with Nick. I'm sure the victims are thrilled that he was extradited and brought back and is going to actually have to stand accountable for what he did to them. But on the flip side, I wonder too, how painful is this for them? You know, how hard is it to have this idiot who has turned into this international sideshow to be the person that took advantage of them? It sucks. So as much as we joke and we laugh when we make fun of Nick, I want to be mindful of the victims too, that he's done some horrific things and put innocent people through some terrible, terrible things. And for that, Nick, we're going to continue and always hold you accountable, because you suck and nobody has deserved the crimes that you've committed against them. He also has some pending, potentially sexual assault charges in the UK. And he already had some sexual assault charges that he was convicted for many years ago, back, I believe, I want to say Rhode Island, but I think that might be wrong. But at any rate, this guy's a predator. He's a predator, and he faked his own death and went to Europe and continued to be a predator over there. And here we are. So always, always mindful of the victims. But Nick, I hope you show your whole ass yet again today. I think you will, because that's what we've had from you so far. But my goodness, you guys, what a day. So we have this trial, or this hearing, sorry, that should be starting any minute now. We're just sitting in the judge's courtroom. That's what the graphic you're seeing here, waiting to start. But on top of that, beyond that, we will have at 10 a.m., we'll go back to Robert Tea's court, and we'll come on and have a quick chat about that. But it's just jury deliberations. The jurors deliberated for 4 hours last night in Tea's and finally went home. about 7 p.m. yesterday evening, which would be 6 p.m. in Las Vegas. So they'll be back for another day of deliberations. Beyond that, at 11 a.m., we'll be back in Corey Richins' courtroom to watch day 2 of her preliminary. So all of the witnesses were called yesterday. The defense called 1, the prosecution called, gosh, I want to say 2, but maybe it was 3. I think it was just 2. And then that's it for today. So then we'll be back at 6:30 tonight to recap all of it and talk it over, because this is going to be a lot. And that's where we're at. So, but we're still fighting the good fight with YouTube. To be fair, we haven't even started the good fight with YouTube, because it's been a lot this week. And then tomorrow, Christy and I will be heading up to Fremont County to the courthouse for a live hearing for Chad Daybell. And that will be, I believe, at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning in Judge Boyce's court. So this has to do with the appeals on the death penalty. And we'll be here for that. We'll be there in person. That does not stream. So we'll live tweet it. And then tomorrow night in our case updates, we'll fully go through it. So that's going to be interesting. We have never been in the courtroom with his new attorneys. And in fact, we've only ever all seen his new attorneys one time in that hastily streamed hearing a couple of weeks ago. So that'll be interesting too. And then I think that might be it for court this week. We'll see. That's provided that Tejas gets a verdict today. So maybe I'm jumping ahead, but provided that Tejas gets a verdict today, that's what we're going to be looking at. Me too, Amy. I'm amazed that they're still deliberating. Thoroughly amazed. Well, good morning.
Hey, sorry, wasn't quite camera ready.
Oh, not either. It's all good. I'm here with wet hair and no makeup, and I don't even care.
Right.
Okay. Looks like we're getting a little bit of motion here.
Getting some progress
On the judge's side.
I'm just dying to hear him talk because I want to know if he's still keeping up the accent.
Going on the record. Okay, guys, we're going to get out.
Council, what are you ready on? Anyone ready?
Good. I don't think Mr. Rossi's here yet, but
Neither of my clients here.
Mr. Means and I are already on a case.
Very good. Let's take care of it.
I think. I guess I should have waited to confirm with him.
What is it?
Kelly Veeder.
We'll call the matter of State of Utah versus Kelly Veeder for preliminary hearing. What's the status here?
Judge, we don't need to be heard. If you'll give us just a few moments, Mr. Reader and I to go over a plea statement.
Very
We'll
good.
be back.
All right, I'll pass it.
Thank you.
Anyone else ready? Have we not got inmates here in the jail? Okay, let me know when we're ready. Court's in recess. Are you ready on Mr. Veeder?
Yes, Your Honor. I also have some summary matters if you want to hear them.
Whatever you're ready on.
We can be ready on Cash Coop, on Kelly Veeder, and on Wayne Thayer.
Very good. Are you Mr. Coop? Come on up, please. We'll call the matter of State of Utah versus Cash Johan Coop. He is present with counsel for the state.
Alex Weston-Sco for the state judge.
Thank you. We are scheduled for preliminary hearing today. Do you need the hearing?
We do not. Your Honor, and that's the case ending in 213.
It is.
Mr. Coop intends to waive his right to a prelim and have the matter set over, and I'll discuss that in a moment.
Very good. Mr. Coop, are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or prescription medication this morning?
No, I'm not.
Any physical or mental condition causing you trouble?
No.
Do you understand your right to have a preliminary hearing?
I do, Your Honor.
And do you give up that right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, in the microphone, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Does the state consent to the waiver?
Yes, Judge.
The court will bind the defendant over on the charges in the information. Would you like to have Mr. Coop arraigned today or another day?
Not today, Your Honor. Mr. Coop has a second case ending in 2505. It's 2414-02505. It is set on your calendar on 10 September for waiver, an initial or first waiver. We would like the case ending in 213 to be set at the same time, and we'll address both cases on that day.
Very good. Arraignment will be scheduled for September 10th at 1 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor.
Okay, does it make sense to you? Just see. Judge, you could call Wayne Thayer, please.
State of Utah versus Wayne Lamar Lester Thayer. Good morning. Also scheduled for preliminary hearing today.
Mr. Thayer is also going to waive a prelim today.
Mr. Thayer, is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or prescription medication?
No, Your Honor.
Any physical or mental condition causing you trouble?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand your right to have a preliminary hearing in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you give up that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will bind the defendant over on the charges and the information. Does the state consent to the waiver?
Yes, Judge.
Very good. Same thing, arraigned today or another day?
Not today, Your Honor. Maybe we have about 3 weeks.
I'm not here on the 17th. I do have the 24th.
Is that fine with you?
September 24th at 1 o'clock for arraignment. I'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. We can now go to Mr. Veeder.
State of Utah versus Kelly Veeder for preliminary hearing today.
Your Honor, Mr. Veeder has reached an agreement with the state. He'll be waiving his preliminary hearing and offering a plea.
What is the agreement?
Your Honor, Mr. Veeder will plead to a reduced count 1 to a Class A misdemeanor. He will plead to count 2 as charged. Count 3 will be dismissed.
Mr. Veeder, is that the agreement that you've reached with the state?
Yes, sir.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or prescription medication today?
No,
Do you have any physical or mental condition causing you trouble?
no,
Do you read, write, and understand English?
yes,
How far did you go in school?
high school graduate.
You've been represented by Mr. Means. Have you been satisfied with his work?
Yes,
Do you need more time with him before you enter a plea today?
no,
Did you read this document called Statement of Defendant in Support of Guilty Plea?
yes,
Do you understand what it says?
yes,
And did you authorize Mr. Means to place your electronic signature on that document?
yes,
Counselor, are you satisfied that Mr. Veeder understands the statement and the rights that he is waiving?
I am, Your Honor.
Any reason known to you why he should not enter a plea?
No,
Mr. Veeder, you have the right to a preliminary hearing today. That's why we were here. Do you understand that right?
Yes,
And do you give up your right to a preliminary hearing?
yes.
Does the state consent to Mr. Veeder's waiver?
Yes.
What is the factual basis for the plea, Mr. Lewis?
I am pulling it up right now. I lost it. Judge, on May 17th and May 19th of this year in Utah County, the defendant, Mr. Veeder, let the air out of GR's automobile, which GR had parked at her place of employment, and was reckless as to whether his acts of interfering with her car would cause her emotional distress. On a separate date, he also followed GR to her home after work.
What is that property damage?
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called, the little tire,
The stem?
the stem was broken.
Is that what happened, sir?
The inside of the stem, there's a core that was released to let the air out.
I do find there is a factual basis to support the plea. Mr. Veeder, has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter a plea?
No,
Do you feel that you're making a voluntary choice about that decision?
yes,
To the offense of stalking, a Class A misdemeanor, what is your plea?
guilty,
And property damage, a Class B misdemeanor, what is your plea?
guilty.
If you want to change your mind about those guilty pleas, you have the right to do that, but you would need to ask the court in writing before I sentence you and show a good legal reason why your plea should be withdrawn. Do you understand your right to change your mind?
Yes,
The court finds that Mr. Veeder's pleas are knowing, intelligent, voluntary, made upon the advice of counsel. The statement will enter. The clerk may affix my signature to it. Are you requesting a pre-sentence report or not?
I
Yes.
believe the state is, Your Honor.
Very good. Sentencing will be October 8th, if that works for everyone, 10:30 in the morning. And Mr. Veeder, that's an in-person hearing as well, 10:30 in the morning, October 8th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Veeder, underneath the podium there's a white card, looks like this. You got it. Report over to adult probation and parole within the next 48 hours. And cooperate fully in the preparation of the report. Do you have any questions?
no.
Okay, thank you. It's October 8th. Thank you, sir. Next. Very good. Court's in recess.
All rise.
You know when we're ready. Call the matter of State of Utah versus Esther Book. We're scheduled for oral argument today on a motion to suppress.
Yes.
This book, I received your letter and have had a chance to read that. I've also spoken with the lawyers in chambers. What's the state's position today?
So Judge, after reevaluating the case and charges involved in this matter, the state feels that to move forward, it'd be most helpful to have an inquiry into competency. So the state's going to be asking for a new date, approximately 60 days from now, to file that and to start that process.
Thank you. Do you stipulate?
Yes.
The court will grant the state's petition. Will you prepare the order and schedule the matter for competency review 60 days out? That'd be October 22nd. It's 29th. How is that for you? October 29th?
Okay.
Okay. That'll be at 1 o'clock, and this book that you can appear at that hearing by WebEx or your cell phone. You don't have to be here in person. You can appear remotely,
It'll be 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Here.
Mr. Means, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor. I think we would like to call one case that's not on your calendar this morning, if you would, please.
What is that?
Riggin Aston, Aston.
And he
Yeah,
has 2
three
cases
matters.
before you're on. Oh, is there 3?
Yes.
Oh, I thought there were only 2, but 2 or 3 cases before your honor.
Do you have case numbers?
I can get those for you.
He's not on today.
Judge, one of them is 241-401-857.
Okay,
The other 2 are 2414-01514 and 2414-01593.
I'll call each of those cases regarding Brigham Aston. Is he here?
He is not, Your Honor.
What's the status?
I filed petitions for competency determination late yesterday evening. The background is he had been referred to mental health court. He appeared on Monday, I believe, yesterday,
Yeah.
and was denied. Judge Porter felt that he was better served with a petition. So therefore, I filed one yesterday evening. I think the state may have a response.
The state stipulates to the inquiry into competency, judge. From what the mental health court team has been informed of, he has been doing very poorly in the jail. I think he's refusing medication and he's decompensated quite a bit. And so the state's request is twofold. I guess 1, that we agree to the competency petition, and 2, that he actually be transferred to the Utah State Hospital for competency proceedings.
I can authorize that, but
Yeah.
whether they
Whether they take him is up
take
to
him
them.
is up to them, right?
I believe so. And I think they should. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't.
Okay, is there, I don't know what his situation is outside of the jail. Does he have any sort of support structure outside of the jail that would get him there faster?
Well, his mother submitted a letter. And I think it might be, I know it's in your docket on at least one of the cases. It's addressed to Judge Brady and the mental health court judge, but I think it could be useful for
Ms. Howard, do they know?
Yes.
Very good.
Very much looking forward to it. I'm along for the ride and I speak Spanish. There to, help with client concerns. I think it's a good idea. I would. Super sensitive.
So it's up there. Thanks. He may be a moment. Are you ready on Mike Creighton?
I do need a moment to speak to him, so I will do that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Would you prefer Ms. Held wait for Mr. Rossi or talk to Mr.?
Apparently they're switching oxygen tanks. It may be a minute. So if is Mike Crichton or Crichton James Mike summary or?
That is the question, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll step in.
Great, thank you. Case is ready. Very good. We're on the record in the matter of State of Utah versus Nicholas Rossi. Would you state your appearances for the record?
Your Honor, Stephen Jones and McKay Lewis for the state of Utah.
Sean Howell and Nathaniel Johnson for Your Honor, my client's legal name is Arthur Knight, and that's how we refer to him, but for purposes of today, Mr. Rossi.
Thank you. We're scheduled for a preliminary hearing today. Any preliminary matters?
Your Honor, just before the state gets started pursuing their evidence to meet their burden, we would like to, on the record, and we've informed the state of this, that my client, for today's purposes, stipulates to identity. So that's not an issue for today.
Very good. You may call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Jessica Matthews to the stand.
Thank you. Ms. Matthews, if you would take the witness stand to my right, climb those stairs. Once you get there, please face the clerk, raise your right hand, take an oath to tell the truth.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony which you're about to give in this case now and before the court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated and respond to counsel's questions.
Is the court ready? Are you ready, Judge?
I am.
Thank you. Can you state and spell your name?
Jessica Nicole Matthews, Matthews.
Ms. Matthews, are you currently employed?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed?
Utah County Attorney's Office.
And what is your title at the Utah County Attorney's Office?
Victim Witness Coordinator.
In your position as a victim witness coordinator, can you describe some of the duties that you perform?
Absolutely. So we help coordinate victims and witnesses' efforts throughout the court process, making sure that victims are aware of their rights, that they are prepared to testify, that they understand what's going on, including gathering 1102 witness statements. And then we make sure that everyone is present for trial and hearings.
Okay. And when you do an 1102 statement, or you are there when a witness or an alleged victim does an 1102 statement, can you describe the process that you go through?
Yes, we bring them in and we explain that we are doing a witness statement. And it's an official document where they are promising to tell the truth, and they are writing about what occurred. We explain to them that they should be writing the who was there and how they know them, what happened, where it happened, and when it happened.
And do you provide any of those answers for the victim, or do they provide those themselves?
They provided themselves.
Okay. Ms. Matthews, were you involved in an 1102 statement in the state versus Nicholas Rossi?
Yes.
And did you contact the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, I did.
And did that person come in
Yes.
person? Did you verify their identification?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm going to hand you what has previously been marked State's Exhibit number 1. Can you describe that to the court?
Yes, this is our 1102 witness statement form. At the top, there is an attestation where they promise to tell the truth. They sign their name. They begin their statement. It's about a page and 3 sentences on a second page. At the bottom of each page is signed, and on the bottom of the first page, there is a date.
Okay, and I'm going to refer to this person as KB. And you met with KB in person.
Yes, I did.
And did you give KB the attestation to tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
And is that signed?
Yes.
Were you there when that was signed?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit number 1.
No objection.
State's Exhibit number 1 is received.
I have no further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Cross.
2 questions. Have you had a moment to read the 1102 or familiar with its contents?
I would need to read it again.
Okay, and actually my question really is something she indicates is about just your involvement and potential involvement in something. Just on the last line, it says, I've seen current pictures and videos. Did you participate in showing KB videos or pictures of anyone?
No.
Okay, so you just preparation of 1102.
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, have there been any other previous written statements by this person in regards to this event?
To my knowledge, no, I'm only present for this one.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nothing from this witness, Your Honor.
May I take that from you, please? You may step down if you give me just a moment. Thank you. I've read that statement. Next witness.
Judge, given the fact that there's been a stipulation to the identity, the state, I think, in order to comply with statute, still needs to call an officer. I believe the statute requires that an officer be called. That way, the defense has an opportunity to question regarding the investigation. So the state is going to call Detective Johnson from Orem PD.
Thank you. Detective Johnson, if you'll take the witness stand to my right. Once you arrive there, please face the clerk, raise your right hand, take an oath to tell the truth.
Solemnly swear the testimony which you're about to give in this case, often and before the court, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated and respond to counsel's questions.
Could you state and spell your name?
Farley Johnson, Aaраlee. Johnson is common spelling Johnsson.
Ms. Johnson, are you currently employed?
Yes,
Where do you work at?
Orem Police Department.
And what is your title at the Orem PD?
Currently I'm the administrative lieutenant.
Okay, did I give you a pay raise by calling you detective or did I
We did
demote you?
not.
Okay, I
That's
apologize for that.
money. Yep,
You go by lieutenant?
yes.
Okay. Lieutenant Johnson, can you describe what some of your, the duties that you perform as a lieutenant?
Currently it is overseeing a lot of civilian employees, including our mental health and our community-oriented policing.
Now, are you a certified Utah law enforcement officer?
Yes,
Okay. And how long have you been in law enforcement?
since 2006.
Okay. Were you involved in the state of Utah versus Nick Rossi's investigation at all?
No, not originally.
What do you mean by not originally?
Originally, when the case came in 2008, I was not.
Okay, when did you become attached to this case?
I believe it was in 2018, with the Saki kits. We had all of our untested kits then tested and we had cold cases come in.
Can you just, I know sake is it's not an alcohol, it is
No,
an
it's
acronym, right?
Salt kit initially,
Okay.
yeah.
And so you became involved during that, when the hit came back from the sake?
Yes, I was the sergeant that was assigned over Special Victims Unit at that time.
Okay. In terms of this case, was there an arrest made on Mr. Rossi at any point in time?
Originally, no.
Okay, since originally?
Charges have been filed, yes.
Okay. And was a DNA test ever done on that person who was arrested?
Yes.
Okay. Where did that DNA take place? Pardon me, where did that DNA test take
The
place?
original?
No,
the comparison.
Yes.
The Utah County Jail.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
I believe it was January 23rd of
Okay.
this
And,
year.
and you said originally,
DNA was collected from the alleged victim from the original case. And then we had the match came in and then we requested the DNA
okay.
sample.
And so there was DNA in 2008
Yes,
and then there was DNA in 2024.
yes,
Okay. And was the DNA in 2024 tested?
yes.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit number 2. Can you describe that to the court?
Yeah, it's a DNA report from the crime lab.
Okay. And was there a result?
Yes,
And what was the result?
yeah, the DNA returns to Nick Rossi.
Okay. And is Mr. Rossi in the room today?
Yes.
And can you describe what he's wearing?
A blue jumpsuit, sitting in a wheelchair with an oxygen mask.
Your Honor, will the record reflect this witness has positively identified the defendant in this case?
It will.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may cross.
You just have a couple of questions. You've indicated today you were not the original investigating officer.
No,
Okay. And you've mentioned today SAKI, sorry, what's the acronym stand for?
Sexual Assault Kit Initiative.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
And referred to cold cases.
Yeah,
The-
or cases that had never gotten tested, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because this is not a cold case.
Not necessarily. It was
Okay.
just- We hadn't had the test kit done.
Okay. Because a cold case would refer to not being able to identify a suspect and not being able to move forward with an investigation.
Thank you for the clarification. Yes.
Right. And that's not the situation here. Because the KB identified an individual
Correct.
and the original investigating officer at that time knew who that individual was. DNA was collected as part of a sex assault testing kit.
Correct.
And that original officer specifically declined to refer charges.
My understanding, yes.
Okay. And then somehow that got separated from the DNA kit that got tested later on.
I don't understand the question.
Well, I guess I'm making an assumption, maybe you don't know, but so the original investigating officer declined to refer charges.
According to her report, yes.
Okay. And then you've said that there was an untested sex assault kit.
Correct.
Okay. And it got tested not until January of 2024 of this year.
No,
Oh,
the kit was tested originally, was prior to that. The DNA sample, the comparison was in 2024.
oh, okay. Okay. And so that kit being tested, is that what initiated then interest in this again, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Redirect.
No follow-up, Your Honor.
Officer Johnson, you may step down. Thank you.
Does this belong to?
It may, yes. Any objection to State's Exhibit 2?
Judge, I'm not even sure I moved to admit that. And if I failed, then I moved to admit it right now.
Any objection? Hold on just a minute.
Didn't, because I was going to object that, that
We
it's,
may need you. Hold on. Can I have you
I
fit
apologize.
here again? There may be redirect. The state has offered into evidence State's Exhibit number 2. Do you have an objection?
Yes, I was going to object on the basis that it's not relevant to a contested issue as he has stipulated to us the identity today.
Thank you. The relevance objection is overruled. State's Exhibit number 2 is received. I'm sorry to keep you.
Sorry.
You may step down. Next,
The state rests, Your Honor.
does the defendant intend to call witnesses today?
No, Your Honor.
Do you wish to argue?
No, we'll submit.
Do you submit?
Submit, Your Honor.
Thank you. This matter comes before the court for preliminary hearing. The burden is on the state of Utah to show probable cause to believe that a crime was committed and that the defendant, Nicholas Rossi, committed that offense. For purposes of today's hearing, the defendant has stipulated to identity. Based on the facts disclosed in the 1102 statement, the court does find probable cause to believe that the defendant, Nicholas Rossi, committed the offense of rape as charged in the information, and I will bind the defendant over on that charge. Do you wish to have your client arraigned today or another day?
Another day, Your Honor. I also, I intend to file some written notice as well, but we might desire to schedule it today if possible. A motion to address his custody status. And we intend to present evidence or an evidentiary hearing in doing so. And so I think we'd need maybe in 3 weeks, so we have time to send out subpoenas to the appropriate people.
I'm not here in 3 weeks. I am, and on the 24th, I have another judge covering for me. So do you,
We can go until we keep things consistent.
okay, October 1st.
Okay.
October 1st at 8:30 for bail hearing. Let me just ask, do you want a special set on this? I don't know how long you'll be.
That is a great question. Yeah. I'm just trying to think through, Your Honor. We probably will have 2 or 3 witnesses. So I think it maybe just depends on what your calendar is looking like, possibly. And I'll make sure I file a written motion just to explain what I think are the substantial changes, circumstances warranting this.
Sean, we're probably gonna call someone as well.
Oh, okay, so maybe we probably should. Okay. It sounds like special set would be wise.
What do I have? Is it 2 hours enough?
I would assume 2 hours would be fine.
Yes.
Soon as we have is October 16th.
I'm in trial for 3 weeks in September, so.
Right.
October 16th.
I'm just trying to think, Your Honor. Maybe for everyone's notices, Mr. Diaz is going to become first chair on this case, and I will have to check with him to make sure he's available. I know I am not, but I might be less important in this situation.
Do you want to try and do it on the first then?
Maybe we should just try for the first.
We can't take all morning doing it. That's my concern about the first. So I don't want to be unduly pressed for time.
If you're gonna get off of it anyways, then let's just do it on the 16th.
Daniel can possibly decide about that.
Okay. Let's schedule it for the 16th, and I'll let Mr. Diaz know, and if there's a problem, then
October 16th, 9:30 for bail hearing. And that will be, you want him arraigned that day as well,
yes, that'll be good.
as well as arraignment. Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, the state would move to withdraw exhibits 1 and 2.
Exhibits 1 and 2 are returned to the prosecutor for safekeeping.
Thank you, Judge.
That's an in-person hearing, correct?
Yes.
So get your witnesses here. All right, thank you. Next is
All righty. What the hell, man? I can't hear you, Katie. I'm not sure if anyone else can, but I can't.
I'm just talking away and totally muted.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid was happening.
And also looking
Um,
at this hair, wondering, what's up. But that's okay.
Well, that was quick and easy once it actually happened.
Yep. And last weekend, Salt Lake City, it was the same thing. All they did is lay out the DNA evidence, basically, and a couple other things. I think that was a little bit longer, but essentially, that's really all the judge has to hear to decide that this is worth holding over to trial. So,
Right. Yeah.
so there we go. Yeah.
Well, he's going to trial. Now we know.
Cracks me up that the last delay to getting him into the courtroom was that they needed to change his oxygen bottle.
Well, he is so very extra. He
Yes, he
causes
is.
all of this to
Mhm.
get attention. It's very clear that
Yeah.
he's going to create as many situations that require extra attention for him as possible.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
So,
his legal name is Arthur Knight.
right. What the hell is that? It is not.
It is
Nobody even
not.
fought her on that, but
I know.
okay.
I think they're probably so tired of having this conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just stipulate to the identity for today.
For today. That's exactly what they did in Salt Lake as well. Yeah.
Like, whatever, dude. They have your fingerprints and your DNA. They know it's you.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yep.
It's time to drop the act.
Absolutely. So now we're gearing up for Corey Richens at 11. And we're also over in the stream watching for any sign of life of jury in the jury deliberations for Robert Hayes. So that's
Yes.
what we're doing today. So we'll be back again. We'll be back at 6:30 tonight to sum up all of these cases for today. But that's where we're at right now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Okay.
is. So,
Well, I'm going to head
You
over
want-
to
yeah, join me over
Hayes.
on Tez, and then we'll be getting Corey up here shortly. So,
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Well, thanks for
alrighty.
being here,
See
guys.
you
We'll
then.
see you on another stream.
Yes.
Take care.